this month we're talking about the soul. So last week we had Brother Eric talking about the beginnings of Raja Yoga, which is the open-eyed yoga we practice. I don't see anyone here who's new tonight, so we are very much into a walking meditation. If you're new on Zoom, good evening, Zoom audience. And we don't just go into a room and meditate, right? Although we do that a lot too. But we walk with it, we talk with it, with keeping in mind as we can that we are an eternal soul. And that's what Brother Eric spoke about last week, I think. And the implication is we have a choice at any time during our day, whether we're alone or talking with people in a relationship, we have a choice. We can be in what we call body consciousness, which can be ego, which can be trivial things. It can be passing time in your head because the mind never stops talking. And we have a choice of dropping that whenever we feel we're wasting our own time foolishly or when we're in trouble with other people in relationships. We can drop it and go into what we call soul consciousness, right? So, what did you learn last week? Anybody? What's a soul? This is like the ABCs of Raja Yoga, right? Who are you really? Not so easy, huh? Anyone? I bet there are Zoomers up there who want to shout it out, right? Well, we're eternal, indestructible. The rest of us, the flesh and all that stuff, is perishable, but the soul is not. I think that's the most important thing to remember. So if we cut open someone's head, where's the soul? Where is it? Do you know where it is? Yeah, what we call the third eye. Yeah, and that's where the soul lives. So what's in it? Where's your personality? In your elbow? Who you are, character, good and bad. It's all carried by the soul, your conscience, consciousness, right? So we're going to learn a lot about that tonight from Sister Tina, who's going to be talking about the supreme soul, whom we call God, whom we call affectionately Baba. So she's going to be talking about, so what makes us different from the supreme soul before she gets started? I feel like a school teacher asking questions, but what do you think? What makes us different? We are controlled by our minds. He's not. What? Okay, totally knowing everything and knowledgeable he is. What else? Okay, all the virtues. Okay, so when people say, God, why did you strike my mother dead? Why did you give this one cancer? God doesn't do that. No, but God doesn't do it. That's important. So I don't want to give away too much of tonight, but a lot of people have, God has gotten a bad rap, kind of a bad reputation in some of these myriad religions that we have. So tonight you're going to hear about the truth, who capital H he is, and we say he affectionately because we can't do the he, she, and we can't do the they. So we don't have a better word except our loving Baba, which I love. So tonight, Sister Tina is going to take us on a journey, and it's almost like a beginner's course. So whether you're here in person or not, I'm really happy that you're able to come this month, especially, and learn about who we are and where we came from and who is our beloved Baba. So without further ado, Sister Tina, come on down. Okay. Om Shanti.
Everyone. Om Shanti. I did not do much of preparation for this evening because I thought, I have to just talk about my dad." So it's okay, you know. I've been doing this for almost all my life, so it should be easy. And then when I was sitting in the evening meditation before you all came, I was like, maybe I need to do something because I'm talking about my dad, the dad. So it was not like just go like that. So I did something, some preparation. But what I feel that Luis did recap a little bit from the last time, but I loved the analogy that was used of water last time, and you got little bit introduced to the fact that there is a physical reality and there is a non-physical reality, right? There is this um, some ability that I, the being, has that can perceive things that cannot be seen, right? Like, for example, peace cannot be seen, but I can experience peace, right? Joy cannot be heard, but I can experience joy, right? So, this is the beautiful quality or the ability or the power that the being has, which we call as the consciousness or the energy or the metaphysical part of the human being, right? The human is the physical and the being is the metaphysical or the non physical, as we say. Now, the question that was asked last time is, how do you want to live? So the obvious answer is, I want to live peacefully, right? I want to live happily. How do you want to be? I want to be very loving. I want to be sweet. Right? Those are the answers, no, that come to our minds. If you have to choose between the two contradictions like unhappiness or happiness, you'll always tend towards happiness, or peace versus peacelessness. You'll always go towards peace. Why? Because we also realize that the soul as an energy, the consciousness intrinsically is made up of goodness. Ah, you got those flowers. Thank you. So soul intrinsically is filled with innate goodness, right? Innate goodness is the goodness of the energy of peace or energy of love or energy of wisdom or power, right? And so when I have all of this, and then the question raised was that why I don't carry my water with me. So I did bring my water bottle with me. And sometimes it happens that, you are thirsty, you drink the water. Okay, fair enough. No, 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 I have. I'm just sharing the analogy that was used last time and I loved it. So I'm just bringing it back again that okay, let's say, for example, I leave my house, I go outside, I carry my water bottle, right? And I have it full to the capacity of that bottle, and I drink it whenever I need it. But a time comes when I might run out of that water, right? So then what I do? Perhaps I might ask Krish, you have water, give me little water. Or I might ask Koha, you have water bottle, give me some water, right? So I will take from my fellow friends or things like that I might do. However, a time could come that when you would say that Kohar also doesn't have water now, or Krishi doesn't have water now, then what I do? Then what will I do? Hmm? What should I do? Crib about it? Oh, I don't have water. Why there is no water here? Why didn't I carry a bigger bottle? So that's when I think we look for the fountain or look for the source of the water, right? And so that's where we are stepping in today to know that, yes, we do carry the water, we do take whatever we can, but a time comes in the journey of the soul, if you will, where you feel that now it's not enough, right? So what do we do? So I have to connect with the source. I have to find the source. I have to find the fountain, right? Now, I want to do a little exercise so that what you have learned last time becomes very firm. That is the foundation of Raj Yoga meditation, because Raj Yoga meditation means journey inwards, journey upwards, right? But a journey inwards is basically knowing myself, who I am and what I am, right? So let's do this little small exercise. Wherever you are, you can be seated, or if you want to stand, you can stand. But you have to draw an imaginary circle around you and see yourself sitting in that circle. Sometimes I say stand in that circle, but doesn't matter, right? You have an imaginary circle all around you, and you are in that circle. Okay? Did you do that? Yeah. Now, see yourself in that circle. I, the being, I am in this circle. I am at the center of this circle. This circle is like my world. In my world, I have my body, I have my senses, I have my legs, my hands, I have my people, right? I have my friends, I have my family, I have my children. In my world, I have my colleagues, I have my co-workers, I have my neighbors, perhaps. I have my pet that I love dearly. I have my gadgets, my phone, my laptop, right? I have my car with my car keys. I have all my properties there, everything that belongs to me, which I feel is me, my story, my role that I play, everything is in this circle. This is my circle. This is my world. I'm in this circle. And now I ask you to very gently let everything be in that circle. And you see that there's an imaginary circle next to this circle. And you just sit, stand up from your place physically. If you can stand up from your place, and then you just move in that next circle. So you just move into the little bit side of the seat. Yeah. And then you sit in that new circle. You're not bringing with you anything from that previous circle. You're just bringing yourself into that new circle. This is the difference between I, which is in the new circle, and my, which is in the old circle. So this everything in the old circle is mine, but it's not me. It's not who I am. And everything in the new circle is who I am, right? Which is the being. This is that step of detachment which we talk about when you want to realize that I am a soul and be in that soul conscious state, constantly identifying myself as a soul, that I am the being and everything else is belonging to this worldly, materialistic kind of world, right? Now, when I realize this, that I, the being, I am this tiny point of light, then I want to ask the next obvious question, which is who is the source? Who is the father of this being? Who is the, where do I connect? Where do I find what I need if I don't have? Let's say I was full of peace at one point in time. But now I'm peaceless. Little things bother me. Little things irritate me. Little things upset me. I don't like this form of myself. And yes, I can say, oh, emerge your peace, emerge your, but how do I do that? So that's what we want to see in today's lesson or today's session, I should say. I'm so used to giving course. All right, so I'm going to share my slide and I would request Brother Eric to please bring the screen down. Um, so this being that we connect with, we call it as the Supreme Soul. It's sort of like one time the head of our organization asked us this very simple question that sometimes you ask to the kids, who is the father of an elephant? What would you say? An elephant, right? Who is the father of a donkey? You would say a donkey. Who is the father of a snake? You would say a snake. So, who is the father of a human being? Another human being, right? Similarly, who is the father of the soul? And we would say supreme soul, right? Or soul. Mm. Now, the reason that we say that I am a soul, a point of light, a metaphysical being, conscious energy, right? Like Lewis also said, indestructible, immortal energy, energy that can neither be created nor be destroyed. So, similarly, the father of the soul or the creator of the soul, the connection with whom I have is also the one who is incorporeal being, no physical form, right? No bodily being. He is also, just like me, a point of light. If I can connect with this truth about me, that I, the soul, I am created by the creator who is also a tiny point of light, then things will now start to fit into right place. Because when I say that the being, the supreme soul, is an incorporeal being, then I also realize that just as I am intrinsically filled with the goodness of peace, purity, light, happiness, joy, wisdom, all of that. So, similarly, the source who is eternal light, who is also incorporeal light, is eternal source of all the goodness. Eternal source means he never gets empty. She was asking what is the difference between soul and supreme soul. So I forget on my journey through different time and space, I forget my metaphysical identity. I forget that I am a soul. I forget that I am an embodiment of peace. I forget that I am a pure energy, pure light. He never forgets. He never has any spiritual amnesia. He never has any spiritual dehydration, so to speak, right? He's always full. Always is the word that we use for the Supreme Soul, right? Ever full, always full, consistent, constant, never ending, unlimited. That is his praise. So, in that sense, his praise is also unlimited. But just to give us a little bit of idea so that when we connect with this source, what should I expect? So just to get that understanding, we will see a few things. The source of life, where all are invited to take nourishment and be healthy and content. So the supreme being is a source, and I have a right to the source. It's like when I say he's my creator or he's my father or he's my parent, I am basically now, I have the right to execute my right over him. I have a right over his time. I have right over his qualities. I have right over his powers, right? In essence, I have right to everything that he has. So the moment I connect, it's like when you are at a lower potential and you connect with someone at a higher potential. In science, they say it always flows automatically from higher potential into the lower potential, right? So when he is the source, the ultimate ocean like, and I connect with him, I automatically draw into myself his light, his might, his powers, his virtues, his goodness, right? So everyone has that right. Yes, as a physical being, I have a physical father, physical mother, right? And that is individual for everyone. But when I say I am the being of light and I see you are a being of light, you are a being of light, you are a being of light, then we all are just souls, right? The one who's experiencing, the one who is the creation. And we all are created by the same source energy. We all are belonging as children of the same Father. And that is why there is open invitation for everyone. It's not only you are invited or only you are, everyone has invitation to come and take whatever you want, however much you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, right? So that I can rehydrate myself, right? I'm using that analogy because I really liked it. And I am filling myself again. I am feeling good now. I am not exhausted. I am not tired anymore, right? I am not going to fall because I didn't drink water, right? So that can happen there. So I say that we are filled with wisdom. However, the supreme soul is ocean of that wisdom, ocean of knowledge, right? Constant ocean of knowledge. Now, from the ocean, how much ever you take out, nothing happens, right? So, however much of knowledge you want, you can just absorb that. You just have to be in his presence and absorb that light of knowledge so that the intellect can get clarity, so that I can understand things in the right way. And ignorance can be turned into knowledge. Ignorance can be turned into something that I can now begin to make sense of, right? Who wants to live an ignorant life, right? If four friends are sitting and they're talking about something and you don't know it at all, you feel a little out of place, right? Oh, how come I don't know? Tell me a little bit more. So now I want to come out of this ignorance that I didn't know I was so powerful. I didn't know that peace is my innate quality. I didn't know. Now come into this light, absorb this light, and feel that yes, I am child of the ocean of knowledge, and therefore who am I? I am master ocean of knowledge, right? Son is always called as master of whatever qualities dad has. So if my dad is ocean of knowledge, then automatically I become master ocean of knowledge, right? Similarly, when we see that we can see that the supreme soul is the fountain of peace. Now, when you stand under the fountain or under a waterfall, you don't have to say, give me peace, give me, give water to me. No, water automatically falls on you, right? Under the fountain. Have you seen little children playing under the water? You must have also played. And this is the time when you are under this huge fountain of peace, you automatically receive peace. You don't have to ask in front of him. You don't have to beg. You don't have to say anything for that matter. Just go and stand and see the magic, right? All the sorrow is removed and all the hurt feelings are removed. All the negativity that I have accumulated from the past is removed. And what emerges is then peace. I am at peace with myself, I am at peace with others, and I create a very peaceful environment all around me. So when I connect in Raj Yoga meditation, journey inwards, but also journey upwards means I'm connecting to this source, I'm connecting to this light, I'm connecting to the one who is called ocean of love. Nobody in this world can love me like how my father loves me. And I'm talking about the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, right? Nobody. I am only loved in this world if I am useful, honestly. The day when you turn out to be no use, nobody will care for you, right? So the world is very tainted in that way, right? Very limited in that way. But when it comes to my parent, my spiritual parent, my spiritual parent doesn't need me to be in a certain way for him or her to love me, right? If I do something, then he loves me. No. If I don't do something, then he loves me. No. He loves me just because of the fact that I am his creation. So when I realize this, that he is the ocean of love, he is the never ending source of love, he is the ultimate source of love, then all the hatred is turned into love. First thing, he teaches us to love ourselves, right? And when I begin to love myself, then I begin to love him. And when I begin to love him, I begin to love all his creation. I don't hate anyone, right? Even though sometimes those emotions would emerge, right, from the past. But truly, if I understand now that what I am receiving, and then I execute, or what's the word? I radiate that into the world, then I don't have that energy of hatred or animosity anymore, right? So you connect with this feeling that he is the ocean of love, right? You connect with him as the authority of truth. He is the ultimate authority of truth. And truth in the sense that he will show you the mirror. When you come in front of the source, when you stand in front of the Father, he will show you exactly what you are. No hidden agendas, no secrets, no beating around the bush. Exactly like you are, what you are, where you are, he will show you. But it is that truth. Let's say, for example, I see myself in the mirror and I see there is something here. Only if I know the truth, I can wipe it off. No, there is a stain or something, I can wipe it off, right? If I did not know the truth, then can I do anything about it? No. So my weaknesses, he shows me, and I'm able to then transform them and emerge my inner power. So that is the authority of truth, right? Which I receive when I connect with him. He's ever pure, ever pure. Ever pure means doesn't get polluted. The soul, when it comes into the physical form, which is coming into the physical body, then the soul, now because my water finished, I took water from Kohar, right? So little bit pollution from there. I took little bit water from Krishi. There I got something from her. So I am getting something from all of you. So what is happening? Hmm? Internally, there is mixture that is happening, right? Hmm? Your water comes from different tap, your water comes from different place. So what has happened? There is a mixture that has happened. There is a pollution that has happened in spiritual language. And so, but the supreme source never gets empty. So he never needs anything from anyone. He does not receive anything from anyone in that sense. And so he remains untainted, unpolluted, unadulterated. And so that is why when I connect with that source, then I'm able to re-emerge my own purity. And purity brings that inner joy. Purity brings that supersensuous feeling of joy that you don't get otherwise. So also, the source, the supreme being is called ocean of mercy because he can see me as I am, who I am, right? He knows my defects. He knows my shortcomings. He knows my shadow side. He knows my dark energies that I carry. And yet, he chooses not to judge me. He chooses to forgive me. He chooses to show his mercy. And it is that mercy then that helps me to transform all my imperfections into perfection. Imagine if somebody lovingly tells you, oh, don't sit like that, sit like this. You feel, no, okay, let me sit straight, right? You suddenly want to listen to that person because they say with so much love, with so much compassion. Whereas if somebody scolds you and tells you something to do, you would say, huh, I'm not going to do it. Right? So it's like that kind of, attribute that he has of mercy, unlimited mercy, and we're unlimited souls on the planet, right? So that is his quality. His supreme soul is supreme because he is 100% full in these innate qualities of the soul 100% of the times, right? So he never, never ever runs out of happiness or never ever runs out of love. I don't have love now. I'm not going to love you anymore. Right? Never happens that. So he's ocean of all these qualities. He's consistent in all these qualities. He never fluctuates in these qualities. He remains consistent. He remains constant. And he remains like this all the time, right? Like I said, no spiritual amnesia whatsoever. Never forgets who I am. Whereas we forget who I am. uh, And so he is therefore able to constantly give. I can also give, but only as much water I have in this bottle, right? If I run out of this water, then I cannot give. But he's not limited like me, you know? So that's why if I keep connecting with him, then I will also never run out of that water, right? I will also never run out of my spiritual energy. I will stay constantly spiritually hydrated, right? And so, one thing that makes us unique, or distinctively different, the soul and the supreme soul, is this quality of 100% of the times and always and consistent, ever. So, even if you take just this one aspect, that the supreme soul is always constant, absolute. In science, I think I've shared this one time before. In science, there is nothing absolute. You always have to do relative studies. It's always a comparison with something or the other. But with God, with the highest authority, His absolute love, His absolute peace, His absolute forgiving, His absolute mm, blissful. There is no alternate option in there. There is no duality in there. And that is what makes him source, right? Supreme, because he is the parent of all of us. He is the guide for all of us. He is the friend of all of us, right? So there's nobody higher than him. He's the highest on high, the most beautiful in this entire universe, the most loving in this entire universe, the most giving in this entire universe. So we receive light and might from God, the Supreme Soul, right? Now, if you think a little bit about this aspect, that I connect with the source and I receive his light and might, the more I absorb that light and might into me, what will happen? Hmm? I'll become more like him. Thank you. Yeah, right. So, whatever is the dirt inside of me or the impurity inside of me, it will begin to come out. And I will keep absorbing his light, his might, and the impurity might come out. Now, in the beginning, when you do Raj Yoga meditation, I remember one time Sister Jayanti, who is the administrative head of the organization, and she's based in Europe. One time she was sharing that it was, I think, 6 years that she had been practicing Raj Yoga meditation. And suddenly, from nowhere, this whole gush of anger emerged in her, and she felt like, what happened suddenly? But it was not sudden, it was over the time built up. And she realized that when I am taking from the source, I'm also releasing what is inside. So if the impurity is there inside, then it is also being released. And what I am taking in is being then, I'm basically creating space for that new energy to come in, for that new energy to sit in me, right? And so that aspect I have to remember, that I am constantly giving. Now, when I connect with the source energy and I'm receiving his light, you also have to realize that you are entitled and encouraged to draw from the depths of God's love. Why? Because only God's love is transformative in nature. If I give you lot of understanding and knowledge and tell you this is good for you, this is good for you, this is good for you, you might understand, yes, it's good for me, but you might not be able to do it. Or you want to do something, but you won't be able to do it because there is no power in me, right? And my words will not give you power. But God's love gives you that power to make impossible possible. What you thought, oh, I can never be free from anger. And suddenly you'll realize, oh, you're becoming more peaceful. It's because of this love that the soul is experiencing in presence of the Supreme Soul, and that love transforms. So love is a very transformative energy, right? Even in worldly scenes and movies and scenarios you must have seen, in love, people go to what extent, right? That you could never even imagine. And people do those kinds of things because of love. So in God's love, there is that transformative power that can help me to change and be who I want to be. However, how do I do this? And in that, we say that if when you practice Raj Yoga meditation and you connect with upwards, basically what you're doing is you're stepping into his vision. Stepping into his vision means you're allowing yourself to be seen through his eyes, right? You're allowing yourself to be seen through his eyes. How does God's eyes see you? Anyone has any experience? How does God's eyes see you? When I see myself, how do I see myself? Hmm? When I see myself in the mirror, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can be very critical about myself, or I could be very not so good to me myself. I could speak not so very sweetly to myself, right? So my vision is not very perfect about my own self. But now, let's say you see yourself from others' vision, or your parent, how do they see you? Or your friend, how do they see you? Or your co-workers or colleagues, how do they see you? Is it always in the best of your form? Majority of the times, no, right? They're judging you, they're comparing you, they are criticizing you, right? So others' vision of me is also not very accurate. It depends on the experience they have with me. If I have a good relationship with you, I will say all good things about you. If I don't have a good relationship with you, I will say all bad things about you, right? So now who decides that their vision is right vision? Not necessary, no? It could be tainted, it could be impure. So only then God's vision is left, which actually is the purest vision of the self. He sees you as you are. He sees you without your social economical status, without your degrees that you're holding, without, the connections that you have in this world. Doesn't see any of that. He doesn't see what role you're playing, what is your story, what karmas you have done. Nothing. He sees nothing. He only sees you as that tiny, sparkling, beautiful point of light filled with innate goodness. Can anyone see me like that? As a tiny, sparkling, beautiful being filled with innate goodness. I also am not seeing myself like that. How can I expect others to see me like that? But God can see me like that. His vision of me never changes. Never. So when I am seeing myself as a soul conscious state, and I connect with God, the Supreme Soul, I'm actually stepping into His vision because He sees me as a soul. Are you with me? You following? Yeah. So meditation really means being soul conscious and then connecting with the Supreme Soul so that I can bring in that nourishment into myself. I can rejuvenate myself. I can recharge myself. I can renew myself. And yes, it is possible to do this by just having plain introduction of who the Supreme Soul is. But really, if you want to really experience it, then you need to forge a relationship with the source. When you cultivate a relationship, when you, start to build a relationship with this being, then you realize that there is so much more in there that I couldn't attain. It's like you meet a stranger and you talk to them today, and then you get to know their name, you get to know their profession, you get to know some of their qualities, and you get to know, what they're doing, all of that. Okay, fine. You will have a relationship there. But now, tomorrow, suddenly you forge a relationship with them, you connect with them on a different level. It is different, no? That experience is completely different. So, yes, if I know the Supreme Soul, I know, his attributes, I know what he does, I know his qualities. And in a way, it's okay, to connect with him. But if you really want to experience what he has in for you, then you need to experience a relationship. We don't have that much time today. I will not go into it, but maybe we take just 2 minutes to reflect on, our relationship with him. Let us try to remember that my relationship with the source, with the Supreme Soul, is eternal. Whether I remember or don't remember, whether I know or don't know, whether I believe or don't believe, I was, I am, and I will always be his child. Yes or no? Hmm? Yes. Whether I agree or don't agree, right? The fact is that the soul is creation of the Supreme Soul. He is my creator. I cannot deny the fact. He is my father. I am his heir. And that self-respect commentary that was going on, this is the self-respect you want to take from today's session, is that I am heir of my father. So his inheritance is mine. If he's ocean of peace, how can I ever experience peacelessness? Doesn't suit me. Imagine your dad is billionaire and you're begging on the street. Would it look right? Doesn't even sound right. Forget about looking right, right? So if my dad is ocean of peace and I said, give me little peace, give me little love, give me little respect, huh? What am I doing? It doesn't suit me then, right? But I will remember this not to ask or not to beg, only if I remember that I'm an heir of my father, right? So really take this to your heart, that who am I? Not just any soul. Okay, yeah, I am a soul, but what is the quality of the being? I am a very wise soul. I'm a very sensible soul. I'm an heir child of the Supreme Soul. When you connect that relationship, whether now I'm talking about father more, but you could see him as your mother, you could see him as your guide, you could see him as your friend, and just see that your friend doesn't want to leave you at all. He's a very possessive kind of friend. He always loves to be in your company. So you connect with him at that level of friendship, you know, that there are no secrets between us. There is nothing to hide between us. So that is where I would like to stop. And if you want to ask anything, you can. Otherwise, I have a little short video to show you. But anyone has any comment or you want to share anything? Well,
Why did why did God separate us from him when we are part of him? We are created by him.
yeah.
I wish he would have just kept us with him.
Uh-huh. That's such a lovely thought. I would also love for him to do that. But if you think a little bit, it's not that I am part of him. I'm not part of him, but I am his creation. But I am a separate entity. The soul is separate entity, and the supreme soul is a separate entity. It's like, for example, a physical father and mother are the creator of the child, right? Now, the child has to play on the playground. The child has to go to the school. The child has to go to the job. Will the child complain, why did you separate me from yourself? So similarly, if I, the soul, I stay all the time with the Supreme Soul, I'm not expressing myself. If the child, you lock the child into four walls of the house, even 24 hours, they don't want to stay there, right? They want to come out, they want to express, they want to play, they want to do whatnot, right? So imagine the soul doesn't like to be all the time with the Supreme Soul. You want to be there, absorb the light, and come back and do what you have to do on this planet. So it's not separation as much as it's the freedom, free will to go and live your life, do what you want to do, express yourself, experience, how it feels like to be on the planet.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
The author, oh, that's loud. The author Mark Twain wrote a little essay about that, saying if all we did was stay up there with halos and harps, it would be deafeningly noisy, and it would be so boring. The soul, tell me, the soul needs to do. And so this whole thing is a big play. Yeah. And you are you, all those lifetimes, all 8.3 billion of us souls so far on this planet are all individual. We all have a personality that's different. It's cool. Who else? You had some comment? No. Okay. Yeah, go on.
No, just regarding why we're here, I kind of came to the realization that we're all consciousness experiencing itself through this unique perspective. Because I felt for a very long time, what is the point of this? Why am I here? And I am a vessel for him to experience almost like his own creation. So that's what came to my head when you were speaking on that. But also, Sister Tina, when you were mentioning the water analogy often, the moment you said it, I thought of the word love. I don't know why, because for me, when you were saying when I don't have, for much of my life, I felt unloved and unwanted. And only it took me 40 years to understand how loved I am and how much of a father I have, amazing father I have. But when you kept saying water, I go to this person, I need water from here because you're thirsty. And it's a spiritual thirst. What was
Yes.
touching my, was resonating with me. It's a spiritual thirst, a hunger that can only be fulfilled through his love. And another thing was the ocean of love. I remember in some reading a couple of months ago, I came into her in tears. And I was like, it's so beautiful because he's an ocean of love. And I've been trying to get this love from puddles. From puddles. The people give you little puddles. Muddy, dirty, polluted puddles. And it was almost like it's just a huge epiphany. I am so loved, and love is pouring all in me that I'll never go thirsty again. Yeah. So that was beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Anyone else? Okay. How long is your video? Are we good?
Yeah. So Eric Bhai will request you to show the video. It's just bringing us to the closure of understanding soul and supreme soul with a different perspective, but kind of giving the same message of metaphysical and physical realities that we're living in today. Okay.
In order to understand the deep-rooted reasons of everything happening in the world nowadays, we need to realize that there are two realities.
One is a material reality, and another one is a non-material reality. One is physical and the other one is metaphysical.
These two realities are coexisting and they influence one another as if they are one. However, metaphysical reality is more subtle and powerful than the physical one.
Laws of physical reality are very deep, and people have understood most of them.
But the laws of metaphysical reality are even much deeper. So, from the point of view of these two realities, physical and metaphysical, who is man?
It is said human being. The word human represents physical reality, which is the body.
The word being represents metaphysical reality, which is a soul. Soul and body together make a human being.
The logical question arises, who am I? Am I a body that has a soul? Or am I a soul that has a body?
Spiritual knowledge says that each one of us is a soul in its own body. The soul is a very subtle energy, metaphysical and spiritual. It is eternal and immortal. In its original nature, the soul is full of only positive qualities.
In its form, a soul is an infinitesimal point of spiritual light. It occupies a place in the middle of the brain. From there, with the help of the brain, it controls the whole body.
The soul does not change its form. It does not become bigger or smaller. But yes, its qualities do change.
By coming into contact with its body made of matter, the soul loses its energy and might, and its potential diminishes. When a lifetime of one body ends, the soul takes another body.
While traveling from one body to another in this way, all the souls have lost their energy.
The main reason of all negative things happening in today's world is a lack of spiritual power.
People do not have enough energy to control themselves, to control their physical bodies, and to live their lives according to physical and metaphysical laws. They simply do not have power. It is a fact. It is the reality of today.
It is impossible to come out of this situation without intervention of some external power. Some other power is definitely needed. There is the need of the One, who does not come into the cycle of birth and death, who has a huge potential of positive energy, to bring all the souls back to their original stage of being full and complete.
And this great reformer of human history is God Himself. God is bodiless. He does not have his own body. He is also a soul. In his form, he is also an infinitesimal point of spiritual light. But he is the supreme soul. He is the supreme source of positive qualities and positive energy. He is always constant, unchangeable. His coming in touch with this physical world changes the course of world history.
And this time has now come.
If all of us souls would be able to connect our thoughts with Him, we can again fill ourselves with pure positive energy. Souls will once again become powerful, wise, and all virtuous. Our world will become perfect. It will be the world of harmony, where everyone will live according to physical and metaphysical laws.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
So you can get the whole essence now, right? Of the physical and the metaphysical, and how it's time to connect with the Father and stay always like the Father, peaceful and happy and loving, beautiful.
So I have a little homework assignment if you choose this week. Sometimes we get really buried in what's going on in the world, inside, outside, in our heads. I play a game with myself now, and the game is to find the power inside of me that can remember things like what you've learned tonight. And if I take my head and bring it down into my heart, I can conjure up that feeling that we've had this evening with Sister Tina. Does that make sense? You can do this. Try it this week. Thank you so much. This was so beautiful. One thing I want to tell you about, first of all, come next week because Sister Anjani is going to be talking about the laws of karma, which is all I can say about karma is everyone's afraid of it, no negative karma. It's so much deeper than that, and you can count on it and you can trust it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm whetting your appetite, okay? Also, the third Sunday of the month, we do have in person here. How many of you been to the meditation here? On a Thursday, yeah, on a Sunday rather. So we have it, let me see. This is every third Sunday, so it would be May 17th, next week, right? And it's the meditation in person, if you can do that, for world peace. Is it also Zoom or is it just here?
Zoom is there.
Zoom also. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for coming. And we have a little Toli, a little blessing. Thank you, Sister Tina. So
Can we just take 2 minutes of silence?
absolutely. Do you mind?
Let's just take 2 minutes of silence. And inside itself, you see yourself as a tiny point of light. And you connect with the source, the one who is also a tiny point of light, and yet ocean of infinite goodness. And just connecting with him allows you to absorb his light and might into yourself. So stay there and absorb. Gently return back to the present. And wherever you go, remember you have access to the source anytime, anywhere. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Om Shanti. Thank you.